We have our Connor Bedard injury update, and it's not good. He will miss the next 4 months and the start of the season. We'll break it all down next on CHGO Blackhawks. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Emergency Pod presented by Xfinity. Imagine that. Thanks for being with us. We know it is a crappy news day, but we do appreciate you being here with us as always. Here's the news. This statement from the Blackhawks Dr. Michael Terry this morning. Forward Connor Bedard underwent successful surgery to repair his left shoulder. We expect him to make a full recovery in an approximate timeline of 4 months. 4 months from today is November 8th, and that is the first month plus of the NHL season.
Yeah, well, because you remember the season starts earlier than it normally does. Late September sounds like it's going to be the start time. The official schedule comes out next week, right? Yeah, next week, Friday, Thursday, whatever. That's not important. Boy, this sucks.
Yeah.
This really sucks.
Yep.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Initial reaction is 4-letter words, lots of them that I can't say because it's going to cost us money. So this really sucks. I think we've as Blackhawks fans and observers and media members and all that stuff. I think going into this season, there's been a lot of hope and excitement and wonder and questioning and, really just a lot riding on this season. Young players taking the next step. You bring in Bowen Byram. You want to see, where this team goes, talking about progress and expectations. And then you're dealt this, where you're not going to have Connor Bedard to begin the season. He's going to miss all of training camp. He had the right shoulder injury last season.
Yeah, different shoulder. There's the left
different shoulder than
Yep.
this one. Didn't have surgery, but rehabbed it. Came back. Obviously wasn't 100% until towards the end of the year, where he started to feel like, okay, this is the Bedard that we saw at the beginning of the season. Now a left shoulder surgery. The timeline for return, he'll come back. What kind of player is he going to be when he comes back is going to be interesting to see. Still young. Obviously, those young guys can bounce back from injuries and surgeries a lot better than guys who are in their mid to late 30s. But still, it's a huge blow. You can't. Yeah, you can't win you can't make the playoffs or have a successful season in the first week of the season or the first month of the season, but you can definitely fall behind 100%. The 8 ball. So
especially when every point the season was going to matter. And as we've been talking about everything since, the draft and free agency began, a lot of what Kyle Davidson was banking this whole season on was hope. And man, if everybody takes a step and all these young players are who we think they're going to be, we might sneak into the playoffs. And right now, that's done. If Connor Bedard is missing 15 games, 20 games, sorry. I'm sorry. They did not do enough to strengthen the team up front to withstand something like this. And it kind of is what it is, and it sucks. And if, God forbid, Macklin Celebrini went down or Connor McDavid went down or any player of that import to their team went down in injury, they would all be saying the exact same thing today. They'd all be looking at the season ahead and saying, you know what, we're probably punting this year. And they're punting again. And it's no one's fault. Player-wise, right? Connor Bedard's doing the right thing. He's on the ice. He's training.
Yeah.
He's working his ass off like he did last year. And now if he misses 15 games, I don't know in what scenario this is a playoff team or anything close to it. Because
were they a playoff team with Bedard healthy for 84 games?
If everything went right, if everything Kyle Davidson said that he believes in went right, then maybe, just maybe, they sneak in.
It's like a 1% chance.
Sure.
If they hit everything going right, yeah. Well, you start the season with something going wrong, so it's now you're behind it. So, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of fallout from this, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this impacts the negotiating of the contract that he is still negotiating and due, if at all. Who knows? That's more of a long-term thing, but it doesn't hurt, or it doesn't help getting hurt in the middle of negotiating. How this impacts what the Hawks do to construct their lineup, because we were talking about it yesterday and the day before, and last week we did this is what the lineup looks like on July 4th or whatever, and I said it yesterday. I was just like, I keep looking at this forwards group, and I'm like, they're one guy short of making it seem like everything kind of falls where it should, given the growth of some of these young players that we're looking for.
Yep.
Now you're going to have 15 to 20 games without your number one center. Anton Frondell is your number one center to start the year, a 19-year-old rookie. I mean, you've done it before. You've had Bedard be your number one center, but you're asking Frondell to do that, or you throw Frank Nazar up there. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see if there's anything that they do to address this in the immediacy, whether it's signing a free agent that they didn't plan on for like a one year thing. There's plenty of talent still available, just as like a placeholder to be like, help us get through the first month and a half of the season with some depth or whatever. I don't know. And and then you're talking about the progress of these young players. Without Bedard to start the year, the spotlight gets put on guys that probably wasn't expecting. I mean, we already had high expectations for Frondell and Kanserov coming in, and the progress of Nazar in the forwards group specifically, and Oliver Moore. But now it's just like, okay, you guys are like the focal point now. Like, you guys are the ones that are going to be, to start the year pushing the thing forward without Connor, and it's a little heavier on their on their backs.
It is certainly a lot to ask those guys, and look, maybe they take the opportunity and they run with it, and maybe Frondell proves he's capable of being a top line center, top six center, which is what they want him to be anyway.
Silver lining, maybe he like explodes and has 20 points in the first month and a half of the season.
That'd be great.
That'd be wonderful.
It'd be cool if he and Bedard did that too together.
Wow.
And kind of to your point, like, now do you kind of panic and add stuff? I don't know. Like, what's available free agent wise that's really going to get you to sustain what Connor Bedard leaves behind?
I'm not saying replace Connor Bedard through free agency. You can't. But you look at some of the guys that are still available as free agents, and I'm not saying like we're talking about difference maker and all that stuff. But like, do you get Adam Henrique on a 1-year deal or something like that and say, can you just be a veteran center that we can play behind Frondell and Nazar and like push us up from our butts so that we don't have to try and drag guys up from the collar? You know what I'm saying? Like, you put a guy in a third line role or whatever, and then as far as centers go, then you at least have a little bit of insulation there. And it's not, I'm not saying like, oh, you got to go get Anthony Mantha, or you got to, bring in Patrick Kane for the PR or whatever like that, or not saying that, but I'm thinking like, I don't know. To me, it feels like there's talent out there that you could get on a 1-year deal to be like, look, we didn't expect to need you, but we kind of need you to be here, and maybe we'll give you a little bit of extra money just to do it, because we're going to need somebody to help us get through the first half of the season.
Yeah, I just wonder if it's going to make that big of a difference. I like an Adam Henrique guy, you're right. He is a floor raiser, but he's not going to add any of the offense you need. He had 15 points last year. He's 36 years old. And I know that's not what you're asking him to do.
No.
I get that. But maybe you go down the middle, Frondell, Nazar, Green, Donato is your 1 through 4, in whatever order you want to sort them in. And then you add a winger instead of a center. I don't know.
What's a dollar amount that gets the skates off the hook for Jonathan Toews?
Oh God. I don't even think it's about money for him, but like, I don't know. Look, people are yelling at us for being negative. This is a reality, man. This is why, like, we've been talking about this offseason, and yesterday, before we knew, we thought maybe he'd miss a month or two and be ready for camp. Saying, wow, a lot of what this is built on is everything going right.
Yeah.
And the worst thing that could happen has happened, right? And you're going to miss your best player for a month plus.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of hard to find where that boost is going to come from. And like, I don't know, man, of the names you mentioned, I'm warming up to the idea of Patrick Kane more than I had before. Because at least it's a guy like power play 1 can play on your top 6.
You going to play him at center?
No, but if you're going to play Nazar and
We've done
Frondell
that.
at center, you could put him on one of those guys' wings, right? And then Bedard comes back, and you just use Kane as a specialist. I
mean, the center's available on the free agent list. You've got Marcus Johansson, Anze Kopitar, who's retired, Jonathan Toews, who's retired, Philip Kurashev, Oscar Sundqvist, Tyson Jost, Adam Henrique, like I said, Luke Kunin.
there's not
It's not great.
there's not a lot there.
It's not great, Bob. So yeah, I mean, if you're gonna panic sign a free agent, maybe it ends up being a winger to say, okay, we need extra veteran help to help these young guys that now we are going to have to give them more of the assignments down the middle, where it's Anton Frondell and Frank Nazar and Oliver Moore or Ryan Green, and they got to match up with the centers in the Central Division. They got to match up with McKinnon. You got to match up with McDavid. You got to match up with all these guys, and that's already a tough assignment for Bedard as the number 1 center, right? But I mean, he's gotten better at it over the years. But like, even that's a tough assignment. Now you're throwing Nazar and Frondell to have to do that. Having guys on the wings that could help them would be great. But again, like, that's having Bedard out completely changes the narrative for the start of the season. I know he's not done for the year or anything like that. And who knows, he could come back in mid-November and be a 2-point per game player and everything is fine. That'd be wonderful. But that's so down the line, crystal ball gazing, that you can't predict that. So to have some help, I think, would be good. But yeah, it puts the beginning of the year, which is so important for all these teams. For every team, the start to the season is super important because it's hard to dig yourself out of a hole. And I feel like the Blackhawks, they already were going to be on the outside looking in of the playoffs and all that, even with things going well this year. Now you're definitely starting in a hole before you even hit the ice.
All right, let's hit the break zone for the first time. Chat's bringing something up. Let's talk about that. We'll call it a tease. We'll be back in 2 minutes. This emergency pod on CHGO Blackhawks is presented by Xfinity. Imagine that. Summer heat is here, and your AC is working harder than ever. Don't wait for a breakdown. Call Four Seasons today and schedule a complete AC tune-up for just $89.95. Whether your AC stops working, you have a clogged drain, or you need an extra electrical outlet installed, Four Seasons has you covered. Their expert techs are available 24/7 for emergency service with no additional charges for nights, weekends, or holidays. And if your AC breaks down after your tune-up, they will fix it at no additional charge. Now is also the perfect time to upgrade during Four Seasons Summer Savings event. Take advantage of 72 months of interest-free financing, up to $4,000 in rebates, and same-day installation at no extra cost. Plus, Four Seasons will beat any competitor's offer by $1,000 guaranteed. Four Seasons, your trusted local experts for heating, air conditioning, plumbing, sewer, and electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com.
New vehicles are in store at Ray Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, and this is your chance to score a great deal at the Make This the Summer event. Head to Ray Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram on Route 12 today to choose from their huge inventory of new Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Rams models. And right now, get up to $14,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% financing for 72 months on the new 2026 Ram 1500 Crew Cab. Plus, shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. With a friendly team of brand experts, the team at Ray Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram is there to help you during each step of your car shopping journey, and since they prioritize affordability, you know you won't overpay for the vehicle you need, and Ray's price promise means you can shop confidently with no add-ons and no hidden fees ever. Check out our partner today to shop one of the Chicago area's largest inventories and find the right new vehicle for you, then drive home happy. For more information, visit Ray Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram today on Route 12 in Fox Lake or online at raycdjr.com. They've been serving the community since 1963.
All right, we are back on CHGO Blackhawks, and we are glad you're here. We have over 600 people watching right now, only 100 likes, so please, please, please hit that like button. If you're checking us out for the first time, hit that subscribe button. Make sure we move up in your algorithm when news like this happens. We are on 5 days a week, in season, off season, doesn't matter. We are here every damn day, so subscribe and hit that like button for us. Before the break, I talked about an idea coming up in the chat. A lot of people have brought it up. Shane Wright from the Seattle Kraken, seemingly available. 22-year-old was supposed to be a number 1 pick, fell to number 4, and just things have not really panned out for him in Seattle. I don't know if he fixes the problem, but he fits the timeline, and if you hit on Shane Wright, even close to what he was projected in his draft year, you call that a win, and you figure it out. And I feel like he could probably be had for picks. You'd probably have to include a first, not your own, I wouldn't imagine, but one or both of those Florida Edmonton picks next year. That might even be more than you would need to give up for him at this point.
That's too much, I think.
Yeah.
2 first-round picks? No.
Yeah, so I think you give Seattle a first and whatever else they would like, and in terms of, picks beyond the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round, whatever it might be, and take a shot on a guy. Maybe you didn't feel it at this point because you had Bedard, Frondell, Nazar. Bring in Shane Wright, and if it works out, great. If it doesn't, I think you still have a guy that can be in your lineup and still contribute. Mm-hmm. He's not a guy who's stuck only at the center. I think you could probably play him on wing. You could play Bedard on wing. It's not an ideal fix, but it makes your team better, and it fits the timeline, and you had for cheap. And we know Kyle Davidson loves his reclamation projects. This could be a huge one. And I think this sort of changes the dynamic here. The Bedard injury does. If he really feels like this was the year they want to start winning, and that's what Cole Smith said yesterday during his media availability, then I don't think you can just sit here today and be like, well, we lost Connor Bedard for the first month plus of the season. We're just going to see what happens. I think you do have to address it in one way, shape, or form.
Yeah. I'm open to the idea of Shane Wright. He's on an expiring contract, so you could take the flyer on him. I don't think it's going to be an exorbitant price tag to do it, because it seems like the situation is fresh start, and maybe it's a 2nd round pick. Maybe it's a pair of 2nd round picks. I don't know. Maybe it's swap out. I don't really even want to swap out players because you need players. And then if it works, wonderful. You can extend him. You have you have the ability to do that.
Right.
And if it doesn't, then
trade his rights.
Or you just, you say, well, we tried, and then eventually Connor comes back, and then Shane Wright falls down the lineup and all that stuff, and then if it doesn't work, whatever, you tried. I feel like any kind of addition to the team doesn't need to be like a complete course corrector for the season, because I don't think you're going to find it.
It's a water treader. Yeah.
So I think your best route is you could go the Shane Wright route, and then that's a high reward, low risk kind of thing.
Especially with him,
if it works
with a year left.
Yeah. Or you dip into free agency for a guy that is only going to want or need 1 year. You could go that route too. I just feel like it does. I don't think you don't do anything if you're Kyle Davis. I feel like
if
as
we're
much
taking
as
him at his word, he thinks this is the time to move this thing forward, and you trade for Bowen Byram with that in mind, right?
Right.
But we have also seen them not do much else aside from address a fourth line center and a bottom pair defenseman, aside from Byram.
Right.
So
you can only say we really like our team as is so far, because if you really like your team as is, and then you subtract Connor Bedard for the beginning of the season, 15 to 20 games, whatever it might end up being, I don't think you can come back and be like, well, we still really like our team as constructed, and we feel like we're going to be. You can't lose your best player and say it's still completely fine, no changes needed. Like you have to. I feel like you have to do something. You can't sit on your hands and just say, oh, we're just going to walk into training camp with this roster and this is what it is.
I think so if you're moving assets, I think Shane Wright makes a lot of sense. Some people in the chat have brought up Connor Zary too from Calgary. He's been in trade rumors. He's got
Similar
this year
to Shane
and
Wright.
next left, and then he's an RFA. 24-year-old, he can play center or wing. The easiest thing to do would be to sign Patrick Kane.
Sign somebody.
I mean, that's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
He's right there. He, depending on who you listen to, who you believe, seems like there's at least a little bit of interest there. And, we've heard a couple things over the last couple days. Chief threw something out on his podcast, but we've seen, before free agency, Elliot Friedman kind of say, I wonder if Patrick Kane would consider Chicago. Like
spitball.
A couple other people have spitballed that to the point where it's been spitballed a lot.
Spatballed.
Spatball. There's a lot of spat on those balls. So maybe that's a possibility that he would consider signing here. But that is an easy fix that keeps you above water. It's a 1-year commitment. It also, and I don't think necessarily Kyle Davidson should operate this way, but if you're trying to make the fan base feel better, that is a way to do it. And
here's a Patrick Kane Band-Aid.
For the record, he should not operate that way. But
No.
if Patrick Kane has a desire to end his career in Chicago, and you've got a massive hole to plug now,
it's a legacy thing, yeah.
then I said a couple weeks ago when we were talking about Kane, take the uniform out of it, take the history out of it, right? Does he make sense for the Blackhawks right now? 3 weeks ago, probably not.
Not
right
that
now,
much, but
a 36-year-old guy who's a power play specialist, offense only, that is what you need right now. With the low commitment and all it costs to get him is money, I think it makes a lot more sense. And you could maybe throw Vladimir Tarasenko on that list or somebody like that.
Should we go through all the available guys?
Well, sure. But, like Tarasenko actually had a decent year.
Yeah.
He's still a pretty effective player. He had 47 points last year.
According to Cap Wages, players with a projected one-year term contract, that's what they would be looking for in free agency. Evander Kane, that'd be the wrong Kane to sign out of the two. Tarasenko, David Perron, Patrick Kane, Marcus Johansson, Adam Henrique, Brandon Saad, James Van Riemsdyk, Kelly Yarncroke, Riley Smith, former Blackhawk Kevin Hayes, Gustav Nyquist.
Thomas Tatar.
Yeah.
Himself.
You want Daddy? You want Evgeny Dadonov?
No.
How about that's the end of the list, I'd say.
I mean,
so if this is 2017, what a free agent class. Wow. But it's not.
No.
So yeah, I mean, I think you have cap space to work with. You want to offer some of those guys $1 million more than any other team is doing. I'm not going to hate the idea of doing that.
And you also give them the promise of if we fall out of things, you're dealt to a contender.
When we fall out of things.
When we fall out of things, you're dealt to a contender.
Yeah,
at the
if
deadline.
you want.
If you want.
Yeah.
And maybe that wouldn't be the case for Kane, because maybe Kane just wants to.
I don't think he would.
If Patrick Kane is
you're
signing
doing
in
the
Chicago,
whole,
he is acknowledging, this is my last year.
This is a,
Because he has accomplished everything. All the milestones have been reached. Right? North American scorer, American born, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff has been achieved. He's got his 3 cups. He's got his Conn Smythe. He's got his heart. There's nothing more for Patrick Kane's trophy case. So if he wanted to come and end his career here in Chicago, fine.
Yeah.
Right? That is the path of least resistance, is you just sign a free agent, Patrick Kane, Tarasenko, not worry about it. But the idea of Shane Wright
that has
a week ago was like,
that has
Shane Wright
a potential for long-term benefit.
And I don't like we're the problem I'm having, and I have to be careful of this, is like I'm looking at like the NHL lines in my head, the NHL video game lines. I'm like, well, they've got all the forwards they need. They've got Greenway, and they've got Cole Smith, and they've got that. Like, I don't. If Connor Bedard comes back, Jordan Greenway doesn't need to play every day. Ryan Donato doesn't need to play every day. Maybe Bedard comes back and you trade Tavo or like something.
Oh,
like,
you're saying if you add a guy?
Yeah, if you add a guy, sure. There's a bit of a roster.
Yeah,
jam,
we were already
like,
kind of talking about like, your extra forwards are Mangiapane and Slaggert.
So your extra forwards can be Greenway,
so now if you don't add
Slaggert.
anybody, then you're going to rotate Greenway in. Or if you do add somebody once Bedard's back, then you have, or you send, who knows, a guy could look like he needs to go back to Rockford, and that could be the case for a young guy, or depending on how the season starts, based off of how last season went, maybe Tavo sits for a couple of games if he's the same guy he was last year. I don't know. Like it'll
sort itself out.
Yes,
it always seems
to.
But I just think the idea of as we're talking through it here, the idea of doing nothing doesn't sit well with me, because that is a punt on the season.
Can't.
You're telling the fan base like we're not going to win. We don't believe we're going to.
Yeah.
And maybe Kyle Davidson right now is like, crap, season's over, and he'd probably be right in thinking
probably
that,
not.
right? I mean, outwardly probably not, but internally, Kyle Davidson knows how much this hurts the Blackhawks' chances of doing anything of note this year, right? Like, he knows that. But I also think for a team, and like we always talk about this, is like Connor Bedard needs support. Connor Bedard needs help. He's been losing too long. He's not the only one who's been going through this. Right. He's not the only one who's been promised like a strong future of prospects and guys coming down the pipeline. How about Alex Vlasic? Right? Wyatt Kaiser, Frank Nazar. These guys have been here now for a few years, have been through the muck, have been through the bad years, and this was supposed to be the year when things started turning around. So now I think with Connor Bedard getting hurt, to just do nothing sends a message to them of he doesn't believe that we're good enough to turn this thing around. There's no way you saying like, well, now kids, it's in your hands. I believe you. You can do this. There's no way he believes that.
That's too much.
That's great, like pie in the sky Disney movie crap. But it's not real.
You needed Bedard to be in the lineup to expect to have those guys have that growth. Those steps to have the room to have the steps forward.
I know that sounded like when I say not making a move means he doesn't believe in the kids.
Yeah.
I know that sounds opposite of what I'm trying to say, but realistically, let's be real about it.
You could say like, oh, we don't need to add because I believe in Kanserov and Frondell. That is one way to frame it. And I think that's, you're throwing another plate onto their shoulders of weight that they have to carry. But you needed Bedard to be in the lineup so that you could have Frank Nazar and Anton Frondell and Oliver Moore and Green and Lardis and Kanserov in the forwards group to have the space to be able to take those steps and be able to make those moves. Because if you don't have Bedard, then they're going to focus on even more defensively against Kanserov and Frondell, and like it's you don't have that weapon that other teams have to worry about. And so I think, again, as we've said through this conversation of like, you can't replace Bedard 1-for-1 through a trade or free agency, and I don't think you need to for the long term, but you need to have something else there that can help spread out the weight of, the opposition's focus.
All right, I've got another idea. Let's talk about it out of the break here. This emergency pod is presented by Xfinity. Imagine that. Back in 2 minutes. Hit that like button for us, please. What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi, and what if you keep it at the same price for 5 years? That is the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee, and that's a great name for it. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together, that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. It's like having super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense, and that lets you stream the game even when the whole family is online. All your devices working together in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And the best part, no annual contracts, no hidden fees, and you'll get Xfinity's best equipment included. Take it from us, a lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won, records are broken, dreams are shattered, but your Wi-Fi should stay reliable and the price should stay put. So lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. This is available on select plans only, and restrictions do apply. Take advantage of the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee.
What kind of dreams did you have when you were growing up? What did you want to be? Did you want to own your own business? Well, if that's the case now, then you need Shopify. Shopify is the e-commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. Shopify even powers the CHGO merch store, where you can find Jay's shirt or you can find my hat. Shopify has got you covered with website creation, product descriptions, email and social media marketing, and much more. They also have AI tools designed to help you maximize sales if you're into that kind of thing. So if you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big business idea into cha-ching with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/allcity. That's shopify.com/allcity.
All right, we are back on CHGO Blackhawks. Keep those likes coming. Again, if you're just tuning in because of the Bedard breaking news, please do us a favor and subscribe and hit that like button. All right, before the break, I said I have an idea. I actually have a couple ideas. And before we got this news about, an hour before we were set to go live, one of the topics we were going to do today was, can the Blackhawks take advantage of this Leo Carlsson situation? Because either the Ducks or the Flyers are about to add an $18 million contract to their books. Mm-hmm. So do one of those teams have something that the Hawks can take advantage of? And this is even before the Connor Bedard injury announcement came. Mm-hmm. So a name that came up for me with Anaheim was Michael Granlund. 34 years old, can play center or wing, is kind of like an assassin offensive player. He moves around the league a lot, goes and just does his job, does his thing. He doesn't rock the boat, doesn't need to play in the top 6. He can do everything, add offense at any kind of tier you need him to, right? He's got another year left after this one at $7 million, so that makes it a little itchy for me. Another Anaheim name, Chris Kreider, makes $6.5 million. Big winger, has 50 goals under his belt. Now, that is a huge, massive outlier year. He will not do that again. But Chris Kreider's another guy that if you were to add him with or without Bedard, would help the team. 1-year deal, UFA. If and when you fall out of things, you move him at the deadline, right? That's a name. Mm-hmm. Now, if Philly ends up getting Leo Carlsson, if Anaheim says we're not matching,
doesn't match,
Philly might have some work to do too. Trevor Zegras is an RFA.
Yes. Applied for arbitration.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Owen Tippett, good young player.
Yes, he is.
Highly skilled. Christian Dvorak under long-term contract. So a lot of these guys are signed beyond probably what the Hawks would be comfortable with. Mm-hmm. But that's something that Kyle Davidson can keep an eye on, is whatever the fallout of this Leo Carlsson thing is someone somewhere is going to become available that can probably help you in one way, shape, or form.
Yeah. On the Philly side, Tippett and Dvorak both have trade protections, but Tippett's 10 team. I'd rather have him than Christian Dvorak.
Yeah.
No offense. But
$6.2 million through 2030, 31.
Yeah.
But he's 27, plays both wings. Like, that's a guy who helps you regardless.
Yeah. On the Anaheim side, it's more realistic that if they do match, that they're going to try and move a Killorn or a Kreider. Granlund, not bad. Man, I know he's not primarily a center, but if they match, I'd be doing everything I could in my power that's legal to talk to them about Cutter Gauthier and what's going on with him. Are you going to be able to sign him? Are how are you going to do that with him? I believe he also went to arbitration. There's a way to take advantage of either of those teams. There is. But I think, again, like Kreider and Killorn, 1-year deals, like those guys feel like, small, short-term stopgaps.
Yeah.
More expensive than anybody in free agency. But I think if Anaheim were to match, they'd be over a barrel. So they need to, you would have leverage to say,
yeah. Moving out $6.5 million to Chris Kreider's
we'll take Chris Kreider
helps
off your hands if you throw in some extra sweeteners on there for us. You could do it that way. And again, like it's not a bad idea. Even before Bedard got hurt, like you said, I kind of knocked it around my head a little bit of like, would 1 year of Killorn or Kreider as a veteran guy to throw into the lineup be terrible?
I'm way higher on Kreider than Killorn.
Yeah,
Killorn feels like Pat Maroon 2.0.
Kreider would be my first pick of the two.
Yeah. Someone in the chat brought up, what about Michkov? If Philly ends up getting Carlson,
why would Philly get rid of him?
Well,
I just don't. I don't understand.
They're not. They're not playing him. They're healthy scratching him. They question his work ethic, all that stuff. It's worth a phone call.
How is he good friends with Kanserov? Is he
I don't know
good
if they're
friends
enemies.
with like?
By the way, I don't think it doesn't necessarily have to be a center either.
No,
because
it
you've
doesn't.
got guys capable of center like Frondel, Nazar.
Your 1, 2, 3 to begin the year is probably
Green,
Frondel, Nazar, Moore.
You've got
or Nazar, Frondel,
5 options
Moore.
at center off the top of my head.
That's probably your top 3 to start, and then Bedard comes back and everybody gets knocked down a peg, which is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't need it to be a stopgap at center. But I think if you don't want to have a 19-year-old, a 22-year-old, and a 21-year-old be your top 3 centers to start the year, and none of them are Connor Bedard, I think if you added a veteran center to be the number 3 guy and just say like, hey, maybe you can take some matchups and just not have to worry about Frondel, having to be a 20-minute a night power play, top matchup guy.
Yeah.
Right out the gate, like you could do that. Yeah, I feel like you gotta. This is a slam dunk of you have to do something.
Well, let's put ourselves in the shoes here of Connor Bedard's teammates entering this season, and that they probably believe in themselves heavily, right? Like, we're gonna do this.
Sure, yeah.
We're gonna turn a
confident
corner.
Guys.
It is time for us to start winning. Like, they believe, they're confident. So you're them. You get this news. You're probably feeling like, all right, this is not great. It sucks to lose our guy, probably our eventual captain. That's probably another part of this we can get into. Wouldn't you want to see the team make a move? Like, wouldn't you kind of be pissed if they didn't do something to fix this temporarily, to make the team better so you can survive this, potentially 15, 20 games before he's back, not to mention the ramp up he's going to need.
Yeah, someone asked me, like, is the 4 months before he starts getting back on the ice or that he'll be ready? I think it'll be that he's ready.
They're not going to
usually frame it that way.
They're not going to put out a number and plant it in people's heads and be like, okay, now it's 4 months. Now he begins rehab. Their idea. I'm
just glad we don't have Dr. Luke Richardson anymore.
He will be on the ice on November X.
Whatever.
First 2 weeks in November. They would not say that number if they thought it was going to be anything more than that. They're going to lean conservatively on that and say we don't want to overpromise, so we're going to say 4 months, and we expect him to be on the ice in 4 months and playing.
Yeah, I think. Let me try and put myself into a professional athlete's mindset for the first time in my life for this exercise. Yeah, like going into the year, you're excited about the opportunity you're going to get. Teams, young, a lot of your buddies are going to be the star-focused players, and then you lose Bedard. You're bummed out. You're feeling for your teammate. You probably feel a little bit of like, all right, well, we've got to rally. Once we hit training camp, it's, he's not going to be there. So it's kind of a rallying moment to begin the year. It's just like, all right, like, hey, like everybody is going to get a step up in responsibility and to start the year, a step up in their role. So you want to meet that with the right mindset. But yeah, I think you'd be fooling yourself if the players didn't say, man, it'd be really nice to bring somebody in to maybe fill that gap a little bit. I mean, you hear it how often of players that, you go through a trade deadline or you go through a free agency and, not in the moment, but after the fact, sometimes you see guys be like, it'd be nice if we would have, been in on player X, or if we'd have brought somebody in. Like the whole, I think part of the reason Dylan Larkin's trying to get out of Detroit is because, Steve Yzerman at the last few deadlines really hasn't done much, and he's just like, can we? And Larkin's like, can we do something to move things forward? And yeah, the players themselves are like, look, we want to be in the playoffs as badly as anybody else, and they're in their early 20s now, but it doesn't last forever. So you can't take these years and just say like, well, it's all development. Like, you got to at some point get into the competitive side of things. And yeah, I think if I was a young guy, I wouldn't scoff at, they brought this guy in, he's going to take my minutes. They don't think that I can I don't think that they would think that way.
I don't think so either. And I think, like you're saying, there'd be some disappointment if not and again, next man up mentality. Jeff Blashill talks about that all the time. But when Jeff Blashill says it, it's because there's probably not really another opportunity, right? Well, it's got to be next man up because it's December and no one's available, and right, so we have no choice. Right now, there are several options for Kyle Davidson to pursue.
Yeah,
and get done. And look, you know what? Jason Robertson still has not been dealt. Maybe this is where he ups the ante and says, you know what? Fine. F it. You're getting next year's pick unprotected or whatever the holdup might be.
Yeah.
Short of, Frondell and Levshinov and whatever prospect he doesn't want to give up. Mm-hmm. Just get it done. Find a way to get it done if he's willing to come here and sign here. And that's obviously is a big part of the question because it just feels like he just wants to be back in Dallas and there's no other option for him. So
yeah, it's going to get very interesting to see how that still all plays out. But yeah, I mean, that's still on the table. Matthew Nyes' name is not out of trade rumors. I really don't know. These offer sheets, I know that Hayton got matched today, but everyone quickly forgot that one once Leo Carlson got his deal.
It's a little different.
But like the Carlson situation and Robertson and Nye and all these things, like I feel like it's just like this domino effect that is waiting to happen. That's why there's so many good forwards available through free agency, and that's why we were talking yesterday. I'm like, I know it's a little different because yesterday we were saying like if you really want the big difference maker, Jason Robertson or whatever, you got to ante up and go get it. Like if you don't want to come away from this and be like, oh man, we really got no help once Bedard got out, like just go to a free agent, whoever you want it to be, and say, here's an extra $1 million, $1.5 million for the 1 year to help us out. You've done it for Foligno. You've done it for Dickinson. You've done it for Corey Perry. Like, would any of those guys that we mentioned before be any worse than those guys were in the role that they were for a 1 year
like, if you're talking about
overpayment?
Just cheap veteran 1 year free agents, the Kane thing does have its own, like, there's baggage.
It's a different level.
It's a different thing.
It's different.
And I don't think Patrick Kane is like, well, I'm choosing between Chicago and Buffalo. Who's going to pay me more? I think Patrick Kane is severely considering what it would mean to come to Chicago again. Like, there's a lot tied into that.
Right.
So
and Buffalo,
let's
too.
put that here. We both acknowledge that would make sense if all parties agree.
Acknowledged.
Boom. But like a Tarasenko, right?
It would be so... I'd hate it, honestly. But it would be so interesting to just watch the reaction of the Blackhawks bring in a 1 year veteran winger, and Patrick Kane's available, but it's St. Louis Blue and Minnesota Wild legend Vladimir Tarasenko instead.
That would be the opposite of a PR move. But he's
still good.
The last 2 years have been pretty good for him, and it makes sense.
He's still okay.
But I do think one way or another there has to be some sort of acknowledgement with the Kane thing, like because it's out there.
It's never been louder than it is right now.
Right.
For him to come back,
and it makes more sense now than it ever has.
Yes, and they haven't been in a position that's made them more sense than now.
All right, we've got a ton of super chats I want to make sure we get to. Before we do, we want to thank Xfinity for presenting this and all emergency pods on CHGO. Your team's starting lineup may change, but the price of your internet will not. Check out the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. All right, Penguin 0402. $5 says everyone needs to relax. This isn't the end of the world. The kids will be all right. And let me, because I've seen a lot of that.
It's called an emergency podcast for a reason.
Well, no,
we have to react in an emergency. I've seen a lot of that, like, reaction in the chat. Like, yeah, he's only out till November. The reason the feeling is what it is, at least for me, and I think for Mario too, is that, yeah, sure, like, the kids are going to be fine. They're going to get their opportunities. Last year when Bedard was out, the team went 5-7-1. It wasn't completely catastrophic, but you were counting on every possible point this year needed to make a push and to be in the conversation when the season's wrapping up. With 10 games left or 5 games left, you want to be within striking distance of a playoff spot. With Bedard out, I think the reality of that is unlikely, right? Now, if they add a guy, maybe it makes it a little more likely, but you're not going to add anyone of the import of Connor Bedard. So I think when you're hearing people freaking out, it's not about this is screwed forever. It's just that, man, the first year you actually felt like maybe, just maybe, they take that step, you are hit with the biggest possible setback. Yeah.
That's why that feeling is there. Lord Bender spent $5 to say, did Greg get fired already? That was fast. No, as we said many times, Greg is starting his full-time at the start of the new season. He's with us every Tuesday and Thursday, including tomorrow. But keep paying your money to say that every show, Lord Bender. We appreciate your money. Musa Ortiz says $5 says, legit question, is Bedard the next Derrick Rose? The biggest what if, because he's getting injured a lot, and I still have D Rose nightmares.
I know it's, I don't want to, having a shoulder injury sucks. It's different than blowing out both your knees.
Yeah.
I'll say that. But
especially when jumping is the sport.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, no, let's be honest. Like Bedard had the shoulder injury last year, and yeah, he rehabbed it, and you'd imagine it's back to 100% by now. But now you have, or close to 100%, who knows? But now you have another shoulder injury on the other side that needs surgery, and usually when you need surgery on a, muscle, ligament, whatever it is, it's not going to be 100% ever again, most likely. So, if you're talking about a guy who his best assets for, his hockey skills are his shot, his stick handling, his playmaking, and being a center, taking faceoffs, that's important too. That upper body strength, that mobility and strength in your shoulders is important. I'm again, he's turns 21 in 9 days. He's still a young guy. Like those bodies can, those weird. That's well, he's gonna have to lift it with his right arm, some his left. Like bodies can heal faster than most other people, especially athletes. Like they're built different. But like there is, I'd say, a small fraction of a legitimate concern of what's like, could this have a long-term impact on the guy he could be? What full 100% Connor Bedard could look like? I hope not.
Broken jaw, 2 shoulders. The jaw is what it is. You can't. I mean,
that's not.
It's just the weird thing about the shoulders is they're both so freak. Like the Shen face off, like there was really nothing. And I know people like were calling for his head, but he just was taking a face off.
I was.
It was like the pullback is what did the injury, not necessarily the check. It seemed like.
But now being many months removed from that incident, Shen wasn't doing anything intentional to bum Bedard's shoulder.
No,
but
your
it
point
happened.
was correct though, that Connor Bedard got hurt because of an incident with Braden Shen, kill him and then sort it out later. Yes, I'm with you on that.
In the moment, yeah.
Of course.
but I mean, you know, and then now this one is he falls catching an edge in a drill, and the way he lands, like his body weight goes onto the shoulder, and it
looked like someone skated by him with their stick out. From the video I saw,
who was it?
And then it like
took his
legs out from under him, so he wasn't expecting to fall.
Did he get tripped? I thought it was more of like
It looked to me like he was standing at the boards and just like. Boom,
I don't want to Zapruder film it, but
yeah.
I mean, whatever it is, you know, it's not an intentional thing. It's not he was doing a scrimmage or something and he was checked into the boards and his shoulder popped out of its socket or something. Like it's just, you know, one of those things that happens, and you know the way your body moves, the pressure that it takes, and then so it's it's something structurally that required surgery to repair it. So it's never fun.
I just saw it again. So yeah, he goes to clear a puck. It looks like he trips on a skate. Yeah, I mean, so he was not expecting to go down. So he didn't brace himself. He just landed right on it. So
right.
All right, let's keep going with the super chats here, because we got a bunch. Defy Gravity for $20 says, I know this sucks, but it's not a world ender. I know we all want to make the playoffs and have a chance that could still happen. I mean, you look at Crosby's early career. He missed some games. Hopefully Connor follows the same path. That's true. Sidney Crosby was hurt a lot early in his career and then has been relatively healthy for the last 50 years, it seems.
Sure.
There you go.
In a 1-for-1 vacuum, sure. But remember who was on those Penguins teams was also Evgeny Malkin and Chris Letang and Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah. Yes.
Like they were able to kind of march forward without Crosby a little bit. This team doesn't have a Malkin Letang equivalent right now.
Not yet.
No, not yet. It'd be nice. It'd be nice if you could have guys like that.
Is Malkin signed yet?
Yeah, he did.
Oh,
he's going back to Pittsburgh. Yeah.
There goes that one. Ovi Klepbaum is in the chat watching the show. $2 Canadian, which is like 12 cents. Save us, Patrick Kane. You're our only hope. Quoting Leia. All right.
It's not the only hope, but he's one of them.
Hope.
He's one of them.
Yes.
Is that one of the other Star Wars? Other Star Wars episodes.
Madhouse Meek, $10 says, you guys have probably spoken on this, but how does his injury affect the negotiations of his contract? Thanks for your time.
We haven't really dug into that.
We have not. That's a good question. And I mean,
I gotta imagine realistically it barely impacts it. If anything, maybe because he's in RFA, so he has till December 1st to sign a contract. If they know he's not gonna play until then, I don't know. Maybe it's a bad idea. Whatever. Maybe you just
get it done.
Spend a bunch of money and then say like, oh, okay, well, we have until Bedard comes back to figure out our salary cap, and someone's got a weird LTIR, and then we sign Bedard. No, I don't know. I feel like it barely it'll barely impact
Kyle
anything.
Davidson has to bring it up. Like
it's
you
inopportune
could be the
timing.
most skilled hockey player of all time. If you're eating popcorn in the press box, it doesn't help.
Yeah,
and
it's an inopportune time for him to get hurt.
I mean,
but it's still like the contract is still a longer term investment than just in the immediacy. But I mean, if you really want to, as Kyle Davidson, you can now make the point, and you could risk souring a little bit of a relationship, at least a little bit, in saying like, hey, do you have a case of the ouchies? And can we actually trust that you're going to be worth this money over this amount of time? You could make that comment and make that a point in the negotiations. I don't think you should, because you want, like, as we're kind of seeing with the Carlson situation in Anaheim, like, talk about really putting some tension on some relationships between ownership and management and the team and all that stuff. You want a guy like Bedard to, have a positive view of the organization so that he'll, always, come to Kyle Davidson or whatever in good spirits and good faith and all that stuff, and not have anything lingering over him, and not have any comments, in the back of his mind of like, well, this guy thinks I'm injury prone or whatever. Like, you don't really want that in Bedard's head, but it is a reality that if you were Kyle Davidson, you could say like, this is something we have to be concerned with.
Yeah. I keep going with the super chats here. Finder says, for $5, can Kane feel done with chasing in Detroit and Buffalo? Isn't a real contender, to be honest, and feel this is a chance to go home for a farewell with his 3 cups instead. I mean, that's what
he could.
If the Hawks have any interest in that, and that remains to be seen, that would be their message is, hey, come home, end your career where up again, where you are more beloved than anywhere. There's probably less pressure on him here than anywhere to come in and save things or get people over the hump. Like, he comes in here for the farewell tour. No one's going to look at Patrick Kane to come in here and be the savior.
I mean, as we're talking about it,
no,
it's a reactionary signing of like, hey, you're gonna be in Bedard's spot for a few.
If anyone's been paying attention to Patrick Kane since he left Chicago, they understand he's not that guy anymore. He's just not, and he's old. Like, there's a reason he's not, right? But he is still the best option available. So yeah, they should pursue it if they're. And look, we have to acknowledge too that does create, as we've talked about for years and a little bit this offseason, like, that does create a strange dynamic in the room. To bring that guy back comes with some baggage, and you've got to be sure and you've got to be comfortable you're ready to do that. All right, let's see. Young Dangle got us here.
Yeah.
And said, whoa.
Finally showed up.
I was behind it, had to skip to live. Did Jay just say we needed to re-sign Kaner, and throws in $1? If it actually happens, Young Dangle God, we will make you pay us for something else.
We'll change the rules on you.
Yeah, we're not saying don't give us money, but we're just,
Yeah.
And then Windy City Hockey says, I wonder if this injury could lead to Connor being a winger this season because he'll not take faceoffs for a while this season, like last shoulder injury.
Maybe. That's why that's a good point, because then, I mean, if they do go the route of we need veteran stopgap 1-year center, then that player, if they're here for the entire season or whatever, they're playing that role, and then Bedard swings to the wing. Like, that could be a thing. I don't know. I mean, we've already had extensive conversations about Bedard. Is he a long-term center? Is he better at wing? All that stuff. Who knows? Maybe this is a moment where they're like, face-offs only go so far, but it is a responsibility of a centerman. Maybe you take that off the plate. Maybe you change the defensive assignments, help him be more offensive. Who knows? I don't know. I think that's looking again too far down the road, but it is something that could come up in the future.
All right, we are going to head to overtime here in a little bit. So if you're watching on the fast channels, switch on over to allchgo.com to continue the coverage there. Giggity's brought up a question. Would you offer sheet Adam Fantilli?
I mean,
what's that number going to look like?
Carlson's 18.
The Carlson thing throws a wrench in all this.
So Fantilli becomes...
Fantilli has 59 points in 82 games last year, 24 and 35.
I feel like if you're offer sheeting Fantilli, it's going to be similar. It's going to have to be like 16 or 17.
Because the idea of the offer sheet is you don't want...
It's absurd.
Yes.
So that you force the other team to actually have to consider matching or not.
And get them to sign it.
I feel like Columbus would match.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Especially in light of
and if
been
you're
going down with them over the last few weeks.
And if you're offer sheeting Fantilli that kind of money, what's left for Bedard, and two, like what's going to be left for Levshinov and Rinzel and Frondel down the line, and you kind of have to plan out. You have to plan out a little bit that.
And I know that
the
for a
cap's
lot
going
of people,
up,
everyone's prospects are great, and all the Hawks prospects are terrible. But that's not the reality. The reality is you took Anton Frondel 3rd overall. He's going to be a good player who needs to get signed. Artem Levshinov, you took 2nd overall. How good he'll be remains to be seen. But you saw Simon Nemec signed for 7.25 with very little evidence of him producing at the NHL level yet.
Small sample size. Yeah.
Really small sample size. So
of positivity.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Where Levshinov's had a small sample size of good and bad, to put it that way.
155 career games for Simon Nemec. How many Levshinov? Is he right over 100, right?
Like 90 games? Because he played a majority of last season, and then he had a handful the year before.
86 total games.
86.
Yeah, so just
almost
over a full season.
Yeah. Yeah, you do have to have some foresight with the money that you're going to give out. So, I mean, look, you want to be aggressive, that's fine. But I feel like figure out Bedard before you start going to somebody else's house and, trying to take their stuff. Like,
Yeah,
because you could go and offer sheet Fantilli for that money, and then Columbus could say, all right, screw you. 7 years, $20 million for Bedard. There's an offer sheet for them, and obviously each player would have to sign it. But if they do, then you're in a.
It's fun.
You're in a situation.
You could go find other players with less interference, and I mean, look, if you sign him to 18 and he says yes, and Columbus is like, nope, sorry, you can have him. You are creating a problem for yourself down the line.
Yeah.
Right, you probably don't need to invest that much money in one
And then
position.
if I'm Connor Bedard, I'm like, you just went and got somebody else for $18 million. I want $20 million now.
Right.
I'm better than Adam Fantilli.
No, I think there are,
objectively,
as we've discussed, there are several options available that are easy, that are short term, that are low commitment, that only would cost money, that are out there to get done. And I will say this too: if it's not Patrick Kane and it is Tarasenko or whoever. You have to don't be like, I think it was Brian Magnuson in the chat, who's one of the least Kyle Davidson fans in the world, was like, he's too dumb to call Patrick Kane. No, he's not. He is not dumb. He knows you might not agree with every move he's made, with every trade he's made, with every draft pick he's selected, but he's not a dumb person. He is aware of the existence of Patrick Kane. He was here through much of Patrick Kane's 10 years of Blackhawk. He knows he's available, but I think there's probably some work being done behind the scenes that you don't have knowledge of from both parties about, is this a bag we want to open right now? Is this a can of worms we want to uncork? Is there a cork in a can of worms?
Not in my can of worms.
No?
No.
You have just an old-fashioned
just
can opener?
styrofoam.
Oh, styrofoam.
Yeah, you get it from the bait shop.
What do you have, Chloe, in your can of worms? What kind of lid do you have? Oh, plastic.
That's not good. That's not good for the environment.
Steven, Tupperware for your can of worms? Yep, Tupperware. Everything's in Tupperware for Steven. Steven is keeping the Tupperware company in business for all of his eggs and steaks, and that's all he eats. But there's answers out there. It's really, really fun to think about offer sheeting Fantilli and throwing a hand grenade into things like Dana Briere did. But
yeah, it's more fun if you do that and you have a contract for Connor Bedard put together. So
yeah,
Wow. I mean, we're gonna have how long? 4 months? 4 months of conversations similar.
You know
to
what
this.
though? If there's gonna be a move made to address this, it's got to be soon. It's got to be soon.
Yeah.
Like you're running out of dudes.
Yeah, I mean, eventually the run on free agents will happen, and trades will or will not happen. RFA contracts will or will not be signed. Karlsson, that situation is going to be figured out by Friday at least. So, yeah, I mean, some of these dominoes have to fall. Robertson's, and you got to figure out what's available and who's going to go where. And, we've had a couple of those guys like trickle out, like Claude Giroux, and ended up going back to Ottawa, but it sounded like he was interested in going to the Flyers. And then it was just like, well, you guys are figuring out your Karlsson stuff. I don't really want to wait around.
Right.
I'll go back to Ottawa kind of thing. So,
and $2 million for Claude Giroux in Ottawa.
Well, he's got that Ovechkin 10 games played bonus.
I'm just saying, you could give. They have all the cap space in the world. The money will not be the only deterrent here to adding somebody would be Kyle Davidson's willingness to do so. They've got the money to add.
Yeah.
Like there should be no excuse to not getting someone to come in here and help the situation right now. And if he's like, well, we think that Sasha Boisvert can step in this year, and we like what we saw at the end of the year, or look at AJ Spellecy and look, he's right on the brink. Not good enough. It's not.
I'm okay with giving the young guys the opportunity. Doing that is a white flag on game 1 of 84.
Exactly.
So I'd rather not operate that way, but if you do that, that's what you're signaling.
All right. Well, that was fun.
You want to do that build a player thing? That was fun.
I don't even know where to find it. Let's see.
What was it called?
Now.
Build a beauty?
Build a forward?
Build a forward. Can we rebuild Connor Bedard?
Chloe, can we do this for you? I'm going to throw it in Slack. It's just like 84-0. It's the same idea. We'll do this together.
I want to end this show with some fun.
Let's do some fun, yeah.
Right? This has been
all right.
depressing.
So 84and0.com added a new game called Build a Forward. And what you do is you take attributes of players throughout history and you try to build the perfect hockey player. My favorite part of it is they create a name for the guy, which is really fun.
Nice.
And I did ask the people on 84-0, if your player is a 99 in all categories, it has to be Marian Hossa, correct? So, yeah.
Now, here's a question. Do we go all time or do we go really fun and go current era where you can get guys like Philip Kurashev?
Ooh. Let's do current era for the first time.
Let's make it challenging.
All right. Fire away,
One,
Chloe.
spin the player, keep one stat. Okay.
All right, go ahead.
All right.
Spin that wheel.
Spin the wheel.
All right, so our first player is...
From the Maple Leafs.
Austin Matthews.
Okay.
All right, so just so everyone knows, the
That's
categories are shot, hands, vision, hockey IQ, speed, agility, strength, physicality, motor, and toughness. And you have to get a player for each of those categories.
Not hairline.
Not hairline.
Good.
97 shot.
You're taking his shot.
I kind of wish it wouldn't give you the attributes. Maybe they'll create a hard mode.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
All
Yeah,
right,
you take a shot.
Let's take the shot. Yeah, 97 shot for Austin Matthews. So click the 97.
Now you click 97 shot. There you go.
You got it.
All right, now what do we get? Ooh, they showed Ryan Reeves. Oh.
Punching
toughness. All right, Devils.
Ooh, Jack Hughes.
Jesper Bratt. Okay, good player. Good player.
90 hands, 88 vision, hockey IQ 86, 86 speed, 89 agility, 62 strength. Oof. He's going to see that and get mad.
Not a strong guy.
72 physicality, 84 motor,
He's
74
faster
toughness.
than 86.
I mean, we could respin. We get 3.
No.
All right.
We could take something from Jesper Bratt. How about his
How about agility?
agility? I feel like we can run into somebody with better hands.
Yeah, we'll get better hands.
Let's
down
take
the road.
agility. Agility's good.
All right.
It's also not agility. You can. It's not a premium. Oh,
right.
Avalanche.
Gabriel
Landeskog. Oh, okay.
I mean, my first thought is toughness. That's my first thing, but it's not his biggest motor.
His motor is 94.
94. You're not going to beat that.
Really good.
Give me the 94 motor. Yeah, that's a good
high motor, elite shot. We're building a good player. Capitals. Alex Ovechkin.
It is Alex Ovechkin.
He's a 99 shot.
Oh, we missed out on a 99 shot.
Physicality,
94, strength 93.
Let's take the physicality. Take the highest. Yeah. All right.
All
right. So much for my framing of this is you get the bums of the league. We got all stars. Jordan Kyrou.
No longer a blue, so we'll take it.
92 speed. Take that.
Sure.
That's good.
I guess.
That's good. All right, we're halfway there. Golden
Vegas.
Knights, it's going to be Eichel.
Mitch
Marner. Hands.
Ooh, Vision 95.
Ooh,
I like that one.
Vision.
Let's do Vision.
That's good.
Our player is almost built.
We're doing really good.
Red Wings.
Dylan
Larkin.
That
looks like a respin.
Yeah, see, yeah.
84 hockey IQ?
Yeah, respin.
Yeah.
Respin. Only a 90
Pass on
speed
Larkin,
for
like
Larkin?
Vegas and Minnesota are doing.
Buffalo.
Sabres. Tage Thompson.
Height.
Oof.
Strength. Strength
88
88.
strength, I
That's good.
guess.
That's good. You can take that. All right, now we can be a little bit more stingy with 2 respins. It's going to be Crosby. Malkin.
Yeah, aforementioned.
Hands, IQ,
88
toughness.
IQ is pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I feel like you do better than that, though. Let's respin him, right?
Pass on. All right. Yeah, sure. Why not?
All of his best attributes are accounted for. Yeah, let's respin.
Yeah, that's true.
Nothing against him. We just need different stuff.
Hurricanes.
Give me Tuomo Ruutu. Damn it.
Andrei Svechnikov. We didn't really improve all that much.
We got one spin. We're using it. We're using
You're
our spin.
using it? Now we're going to be stuck?
86 hands?
I would take
No.
86 hands. I mean, we have 97 shot. We have 92
All right.
speed, 94
All right, your guys
motor.
gonna
Like,
suck. 86 hands. We'll do
we'll
it.
take 86 hands. We'll be a sniper, not a playmaker. That's fine.
Sure. All right.
86 for hands is pretty good.
Sabres again?
Sabres again.
Alex Tuck. He's a capital.
Not of the Sabres.
Toughness? 85? Sure, I guess.
Sure.
Right?
Save
All right.
our respin for,
Last
for
category is
hockey
IQ.
All right. We need to be smart. We need a smart
See, I like
player.
the historical one.
Sharks.
Wayne
It's going to be
Gretzky.
Celebrini. Yeah, Macklin Celebrini.
It is
of
Celebrini.
course.
We'll take the 90 IQ. All right, let's generate our player. Let's see what his name is. Alex Machinov.
Maknikov. Alexander Matnikov.
91
91.
overall.
That's good.
All right, that wasn't bad.
Keep it. Yeah. Let's
fun.
keep the name. Now we got to see what team we go on, right?
I guess keep
Keep
it.
it. Alex Maknikov. Simulate his season. Sign. Oh, yeah. Let's see.
They should build him to look like the player.
Let's see.
Oh, look at those numbers go up,
Oh,
baby.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Woo!
Damn. 69 goals, 97
Nice.
assists.
That is an A-plus season. He wins the Rocket Richard, the Art Ross, the Hart Trophy, 2 Gordie Howe hat tricks. Wow.
All right. We did a good job on the first try.
Let's see. It doesn't say anything about what the team
Hat
did.
trick
Wow.
against
How about
Florida.
that? All right. Well, I found my new favorite game to
That's fun.
play when I'm
I like that.
rocking my
I
kid
think
to
it is,
sleep.
though, more fun with the
Most goals of the modern
more fun with
era.
more fun historically.
I think it's more fun with the current players. See, I didn't play this one. I played a different one when you guys found that yesterday, and it was like I got all the bums.
That's fun though.
It wasn't. I got somebody. I don't even remember who the player was, but like their best attribute was like a 75, and I was like, "Who is this?"
Any Blackhawk prospect, according to the chat. Everyone sucks.
I did get Frondell.
Nice.
His best thing, I think, was his shot, but it was only an 80.
Yeah, there's not
yeah.
enough paperwork on him yet.
He's only scored 3 goals.
By the way, happy birthday, Nick Lardis. And
sorry, your
he's
birthday
21.
stinks so much.
And Ian Cole kind of fell through the
Oh,
cracks.
yeah, that's right.
Reading the media right now, he says, this is from Kalen Lumpkins, quote, talking about his leadership style, quote, it's going to differ from person to person, personality to personality. I don't think there's one approach to it. I think it's getting into town, getting to know your teammates, getting to know each guy individually. He also talked about playing with Bedard. Says, quote, he was texting me. We were talking a little bit, and he seems very ready to have a great year and help our team win hockey games.
Wow.
Maybe a little later than anticipated, but it's something that I very much look forward to. So that's Ian Cole on Connor Bedard, who texted him too. Captain behavior.
Yep. Ian Cole also said that he's known Landon Slaggert since he was 5 years old. Slaggert was.
It's adorable.
Yeah. That's fun.
That's so cute. All right. We'll talk to everybody tomorrow. We'll see what other hockey delights await. Hit the
Hockey
like button on the way
delights.
out. We love you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks to Chloe and Steven for hustling to get us on the air a half hour early. We appreciate them always. Talk to you tomorrow at 3 with Brandon Perlini on CHGO.
Hey, maybe the Hawks can sign him.
Yeah, there you go. He's available.
We all silly like the mayor.